because he always just like happy when like defenders.
I think it's like.
Ndiaye to Arsenal rumours. Morgan Rodgers has apparently chosen Arsenal as his next destination. Calafiori is wanted by Jose Mourinho as he's within touching distance of becoming Real Madrid manager. Everyone put their medals on the table, car. Yeah, my team won the Premier League. We soon win the champs one day. Until then, people love to say this champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. I'm not gonna lie, yeah. The thing that Arsenal won in 1994, a year before I was born, if man can use Conference League and Europa League, granted we ain't won them either. Not that I want to be in those discussions, then we can do that. And if you don't like it, I support Arsenal. That's all men's sides from the fucking under sevens all the way to the first team. Am I shameless? You know where I'm going with this. The galley won that thing, innit? And they even won a new thing as well. So, yeah, man, it's cool. We never won the champs, run that. But what I'm not going to have is this shifting narrative of it's a failure because you didn't win the double and this over-focus on the Champions League. By all means, I don't care if you're black, white, whatever you are, yeah, especially if you're black, yeah, you could talk because you can get the common sense what I'm about to say. I'm black. You lot can talk until you're blue in the face. You know how long we'd be here about Arsenal not winning the Champions League and, you know, not losing the game, but losing the game. That's cool. All that. But what we're not going to do is shift the narrative because you lot, there's so much venom, pent-up venom about my football club. We didn't win the champs. And it's, we wanted to call them bottlers. We wanted to do this. We wanted to do that. They won the champion. They won the Premier League. That's cool. But then the narrative had to shift back to the Premier League, innit? Fuck the other 19 teams. Random banter. We're here. Because all I heard at the start of the season was, they have to get over the line. They need to find a way to get over the line. Many improvements we can make on that football pitch in terms of recruitment, evolving tactics. There's things we can learn from the domestic campaign, in the FA Cup, in the League Cup final, let alone, even though we won the Premier League, definitely in that final as well. And even on topic of that final, you know, we all know where we're at, Arsenal fans, with attacking football and things like that. We know nothing was going to change in the Champions League. The approach, you lot can, you know, you've seen them cut open Liverpool, cut open Chelsea. And even on that, people have to talk about possession stats. By no means am I calling PSG a defensive side or Man City a defensive side. They're not. But go and look at the possession when PSG played Bayern Munich, either in the first or second leg. Go and look at Manchester City at the Emirates. Why would we open up and make it an open game? Now, granted, defensively, my wing is tracking back, holding shape. You need to be able to suffer and do that against PSG. Second half, I need a bit more invention, intention, retention on that football, as well as some more clear-cut chances. That Champions League showed us, getting to the final, it is about the manager and the manager changing tactics and everything, all the conversations we've had about attacking it. But it's also about the players, because the way I'm seeing it from Mikel Arteta, the players, see how Rice slapped it against Real Madrid. I'm not asking for that, but in those kind of moments with this kind of system, you need individual brilliance. The model works in the Prem. There's proof of concept. There's proof of your, product. Champions League is not going to get you over the line. And even to the point where Arteta, if you want to keep playing football like this, yeah, which, okay, I like this winning thing. You know me, I'm a Wenger baby. I want to see 1-2s and all of this kind of stuff, but I do like winning. Because when we played pretty football, they said we was too naive. For me, if we're going to do this, though, and it's easier said than done, then you need some elite players. I'm just making things up now, but a Mane, a Haaland, it definitely, like, them kind of caliber of attacking players and many more, because they're the kind of players, Alexis Sanchez, I have to say an Arsenal name. They're the kind of players, obviously, that can, it's not sustainable, but if you give them 2 chances in a game, they're going to bag. We don't really have that at this moment. But I digress, people. Let's get into the transfer news. Smash the like button. Just wanted to get that off my chest a little bit, people. And you know what? Smash the like button, because I told you, whether the season's finished or not, we're still out here. I don't think anybody expects Julian Alvarez to sign for Arsenal Football Club. I think Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, and then us. But it's transfer season. We ain't really got much to talk about. So let's entertain the BS. And apparently, Atletico Madrid expect Arsenal to make Julian Alvarez bid, in which if Alvarez has said, I want to leave, and Atletico are open to it, it makes sense for PSG, for Arsenal, for Barcelona to get into a bidding war, even though I still think he'll elect to go to Spain or go over and link Luis Enrique, because it drives the price up. Bearing in mind, they spent a pretty penny on him. And going back to what I said, yeah, I think we're at that stage where obviously you need to buy star players, you need to scout, yeah. When we're talking about left wing and striker, of course, I like Nusa from Norway, for example, of Norway. We've got two options. You either scout these guys before they end up where they end up and they become household names, or you pay the going rate. Because no doubt in the next year, we'll all be talking about guys we want to see at Arsenal or other clubs, right? They had to come from somewhere. What I mean by that is you need to grab Mane when he's at Southampton, Kevin De Bruyne when he's obviously over there in Germany, Mo Salah when it's not worked out at Chelsea, and I think he's over there in Italy, Krupi when he's at Lorient. Easier said than done, but Kvaratskhelia when he's at before he's gone to Napoli, let alone at Napoli, Doué when he's at Rennes. You get where I'm going with this, people, and that's kind of what I want to see in it. Like, no more experiments. That stops with Noni Madueke, in my opinion. And my attackers, as much as Arteta has to evolve the tactics, because I don't think it's white and black. As I said last summer with Eze and Gyökeres just slapped on the pitch, everything goes away. I need greater consistency from my whole attacking bunch. Everybody put in a shift. We won the league. Credit to you lot. But we all know it's our defenders and Declan Rice that done this thing, and our goalie, obviously, for the majority of the season. The same way I waffle about the defensive metrics, the defensive players, and all of that, I want to be able to say that about the attackers in it. But it's neither here nor there. So yeah, Atletico are blocking the forwards' move to Barcelona, which reportedly leaves the Gunners in pole position, says the Standard. They expect Arsenal to make a move for Julian Alvarez. The forward is a long-time target for Mikel Arteta, who's weighing up bidding for the World Cup winner last summer before settling on Gyökeres. A year on, and the Gunners could reignite their interest in Alvarez, who is expected to leave the Spanish capital this summer, 2 years after joining from Manchester City in a deal worth 81 million. So they're going to want to make, not only are they going to want to make top rank because three big clubs with pockets are on him. Obviously, PSG are backed by a nation. We've got Premier League money. Atletico Madrid are going to want top money, really and truly. So yeah, on top of that, they spent a lot of money on him, so they want to recoup. And on top of that, it's like being an Englishman and going to Spain and going to a shop. What the local that lives down the road in Spain and me going over there, we're going to get two different prices on whatever we're trying to buy in it. And that's something that every Premier League club probably has come to grips with for the last few years. We all know where you look at TV rights money and the run money in the Premier League, for whatever reason, we're up here, everybody else is down there. I think Italy's probably the brokest of the big clubs, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, man, it was Andrea Burt who negotiated a move a year before leaving Atletico for North London. I want to know, yeah, in that I do think we've scouted him, but is there element of these rumors are in part truth, in part silly season, and in part because of the Berta Atletico Madrid kind of stuff? I don't know. Barcelona remained, apologies, keen admirers of Alvarez and appeared to be Arsenal's biggest rival for the player's signature. Atletico Madrid are reportedly refusing to do business with Barcelona after growing frustrated with the media coverage around their player's future. There was a report last Tuesday that £86.4 million, which correlates to 100 million euros, bid was rejected. Typically, first bids are very rarely accepted, and this leaves Arsenal in pole position. The same report claims the Gunners have been in contact with Alvarez's agent, and Atletico are now waiting on official talks to begin. I think it'd be a hit, but some people point to the fact that he's got 7-8 goals, I believe, in La Liga for whatever reason, and saying, oh, is the illusion better than the reality? I don't know. They've set an asking price of 150 million euros, which equates to 129.6, which would break a record British club fee in it, surpassing Isaac. 2 weeks ago, it was PSG. Last week, Barcelona, and now Arsenal. We count on Alvarez for next season. Athletic have already started making a move for Alvarez replacement. AS has reported that they're looking at Victor Osimhen, who a lot of you wouldn't mind him at the club, people. So, yeah, that's how we're kicking off things. Gunner blog, aka The Athletic, have spoken. It is difficult to be certain of Arsenal's intentions in the summer transfer window at this early stage. Andrea Berta's approach to the market is to explore different potential deals before presenting them back to the leadership team. Arsenal also conscious that their plans could be impacted by player sales. There's simply not a plan A. Arsenal have a multifaceted, flexible approach to the market. Now, surely everybody's got to have that. And even more, Berta, you got a plan A. There's a lot of moving parts. You think you can sign a player, you can't sign a player. There's injuries, other targets become available. You'd expect Arsenal to have that, and not just us, many a club. There's so many players that we love and have loved throughout history in our clubs, yeah, that might not have been first choice targets. We all know we wanted Kunde, for example. We obviously got Benjamin White. We all know at the time when we got Ramsdale, we wanted Raya. Now, obviously, Raya's landed at the football club, but you get where I'm going. So we have to see. The Athletic understands Arsenal have the capacity to spend and remain compliant, but not at the levels of last summer, and healthy sales could hold the key to unlocking their capacity to invest heavily. We need to get better at selling and generating more money. Clearly, there's a natural evolution of the side, and there has to be some popular exits, some unpopular exits, and a need to get to grips on the wage structure. We've given several new contracts, brought several new players in. Timber, Raya, I believe I'm missing someone else out. How could I miss out Declan Beckham, Declan twice? New deals. So that means the wage outlay is going up. So naturally, you have to look at it. Jesus, you're on X amount. Potentially Benjamin White, you're on X amount. Martinelli, you're on X amount. Trossard, you're on X amount. And also, you've got a year left at this moment in time, maybe with an option. And there's several other players. Wanyeri, right now, you might not be the kind of player we need you to be. There's a higher potential earner there, whether I want him to go or not, which I don't. You get where I'm going. So I do think the Athletic have a habit of big them up, but saying things that sound great. But when you actually break it down, and it's not that it's wrong, but this is just common knowledge for one, I believe, and two, you'd imagine every club does that. But yeah, Morgan Rodgers, according to multiple sources, is open to joining Arsenal ahead of next season, says Sammy Mokbel. We're going to spin the block on Morgan Rodgers. Jose Mourinho allegedly has asked Real Madrid to sign Ricardo Calafiori, says Ramon Alvarez. To be fair, I think he works for the Athletic. I wonder if we let him go because we're still aggressively linked with left backs. Saliba said, "This is where I dreamed of being a regular star at a big club. Is something I love. I knew I had the qualities to be and talent to be a top level player. So I thought to come back to Arsenal and show that I belong there. I'm careful not to get complacent. Football moves too fast. You become complacent, some will come and replace you immediately. I spent the previous World Cup sitting on the bench. Of course, it helps you gain experience, but I told myself the next one, I have to be on the pitch. It made me stronger. It's my second one technically, but in reality, it feels like a first. Now, there's rumors he needs surgery. There's also rumors quashing that. One does wonder, with a number of our players at the World Cup, on top of the minutes they've played, what we're going to look like at the start of the season. I know I have a chance of starting this World Cup as a starter. When you see the team you have, all you want to do is play and enjoy yourself. But I also think it's a privilege, whether it's with Arsenal or with the French national team. We're lucky to be here, lucky to wear this shirt. There's so many legends who have won it before. I love the way Saliba just speaks in general. God decided that I'd be a centre-back, and I'm very happy with that. If I had to be a goalie to become professional, I would have done it. When you're young, you tend to watch attackers more. True. The ones who score and provide assists, the ones who excite you the most. If I could, I would have been a number 9 and scored 30 goals a season. I'm not a star like Mbappe or Dembele, but in my position, I'm among the best. I love that self-confidence. Bayern Munich are apparently linked with Morgan Rodgers, and Vincent Kompany is an admirer of his people. We have been linked with Ndiaye. Apparently, Man United are the front runners for it, people. He has a deal until 2029. The 26-year-old is viewed by Everton as one of the cornerstones of their project, people. But yeah, again, it is what it is. Apparently, they're talking around the new deal and getting a release clause. That's probably on top of it being silly season where these rumors are coming from. United's hierarchy have been tracking his progress. Liverpool's priorities may evolve as the season goes on, but they are still linked with him. Not sure if he wants to cross the Liverpool divide. Team Talk has said that Arsenal, Manchester City, and Chelsea have all been informed of the player situation and continue to monitor events closely. At present, none of those clubs are actively pursuing a deal, but are all aware that a contract impasse could eventually create an opportunity. Pardon me, interest is not limited to England either. So, yeah, I mean, good players always wanted by everybody, really and truly, innit? Every player that's been selected to go to the World Cup, Saka, Eze, Rice, Noni, Wanyeri's part of a couple of players who are going to just train and whatnot. Zubamendi, Marino, Raya, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, Martin Odegaard, Julian Timber, Leandro Trossard, Kai Havertz, William Saliba, Piero Hincapié, and Victor Gyökeres will all be participating. Hopefully someone can bring that home, people. Bayern Munich and Arsenal are going to battle, people. For Eintracht Frankfurt's Nathaniel Brown, who predominantly plays as a left back, can play left midfield. Wouldn't mind it. I think my priority is on that right-hand side, but Hincapié and Calafiori do pick up a lot of injuries. Miles Lewis-Skelly might be seen as a midfielder, so you could make a case of it, people. I reckon he goes by, and you know how it goes with the German players. He did join Frankfurt in January of 2024, and he's been doing his thing, essentially, man. He started 29 games last season, played 33 times in totality, 4 goals and 4 assists. Arsenal advantage over Bayern, I'm not sure about that. Arsenal have enough depth in their left back areas, but the Gunners could look to bring in another right back, especially if Ben White leaves. Calafiori, Hincapié, Miles Lewis Skelly can play left back, while Timber can be used in that role. Bayern Munich probably need a young left back, especially if Alfonso Davies is allowed to move on. So I'll have to see. Apparently, he will cost 65 million euros, 56 million quid. That's considered too much for Bayern. Frankfurt want a transfer fee of about 65 million. I wouldn't rule out a Man United or something like that. Morgan Rodgers is open to a summer move potentially to Arsenal. We've seen this before. I'm not going to read this article because I think we got one coming up. Apparently, Krupi of Bournemouth, who I really want, prefers a move to PSG ahead of Arsenal or Chelsea. The 19-year-old in his debut season scored 13 goals, people. And where you look at this with Morgan Rodgers, obviously, he signed a new deal recently. Aston Villa are in the Champions League, but he's a good player. All the other teams are going to want him. Obviously, you hear around Aston Villa, although I think they'll move heaven and earth and move on several players, and the accountants will do their best to make it a reality to not breach any problems, breach any financial rules without selling Morgan Rodgers. You can see where these rumours are coming from. And I mean, the man's stock's risen year in, year out. He's part of a great Aston Villa side, people. While there's an expectation from multiple sources to whom the Athletic has spoken, all on the condition of anonymity to protect relationships, that the forward will leave. Senior club sources are intent on keeping the 23-year-old at Villa Park with 5 years left on his contract. And what a player he's been for 7-8 million quid. They're in a strong position. Regardless, they'll face significant interest. Villa may have no desire to sell, but their valuation would be influenced by sell-on clause Middlesbrough inserted into the deal when they sold Rodgers in January of 2024. The initial fee was 7 million plus a further 8 million in add-ons. Crucially, the Championship club has a 20% sell-on clause. You would have seen a video I done on him when he was at West Brom. Now he's gone from West Brom to West Brom to Manchester City to Middlesbrough. Obviously, he's at Aston Villa. A bit like when I wanted Eze when he was at QPR. So I've always liked Morgan Rodgers, man. Essentially, every top Premier League team admires Rodgers. Not news to anyone. Arsenal, for instance, are among those to have reached out to Rodgers' reps and asked to be kept informed of his situation. Player trading is on the agenda for the Premier League champions this summer, so whether they formalise their interest may depend on likely departures and squad balance. Liverpool appreciate Rodgers, but are prioritising different positions other than an attacking midfielder as they seek to rebuild under their new management. Both Manchester clubs are keeping a close eye too. A move to Manchester City would signal a return, given Rodgers played in their academy between 2019 and 23, while Manchester United, particularly now that Michael Richards is taking up the reins on a long-term basis, are firm advocates. And as we know, Rodgers did play on the Carrick at Middlesbrough. And obviously, both the Manchester United manager and director of football, Jason Wilcox, worked with Rodgers, obviously, when he was at City's academy, people. Yet the question is whether United would have enough resources to spend the money needed to bring in Rodgers, given a significant chunk of their budget will be focused on addressing the more pressing position of central midfield. I wouldn't rule it out. Champions League money. Man United do have money anyways. Obviously, Casemiro's departing. That frees up some wages. Jadon Sancho's departing. He's going to be a free agent. That frees up some wages. They've got some money from Ramos Højlund. They probably will move on Onana. I don't know what happens with Rashford, but him or Garte, these guys could be moved on. I wouldn't rule it out, man. Everybody's going to sign some sort of stuff. Chelsea have a long-standing interest in Rodgers, and sources close to Villa expect them to push again this summer. Rodgers suits what Chelsea are looking for in the market for a variety of reasons. I mean, you can make, as we all know, you can make a case. PSG and Bayern Munich have also been listed, people. And this is just basically talking about the financial position of Aston Villa and why they may need to sell him, because he's going to be one of their biggest earners. But is anything going to happen before the World Cup's done? I don't know, people. Reps of other Villa players believe the club will look towards the 100 million sale of Jack Grealish to Man City in 2021 as a starting figure for Rodgers before possible negotiation. Arsenal will try and bargain that down. I think they rate Rodgers, but not in the sense of like a Declan Rice. I think he's got the ability. I think he's got the mentality. I think he's got the versatility. I think there's more plus. There's a lot. I think it's 99.9% due to bang if you go and sign him in it, but that's just my thoughts.